Have you ever witnessed a moment so powerful it changed lives forever? That's exactly what happened when a young girl stood face to face with one of the most influential CEOs in the tech world. If this story moves you as much as it moved everyone in that room, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more life-changing stories that remind us of our shared humanity. The fluorescent lights of Westfield Mall buzzed overhead as 16-year-old Maya Rodriguez adjusted her name tag. 6 months into her first job at the food court, she had mastered the art of the perfect ice cream swirl and memorized the names of regular customers. What she hadn't prepared for was serving Eliza Chen, CEO of Horizon Technologies and one of the most powerful women in Silicon Valley. Maya's hands trembled slightly as she recognized the woman approaching the counter. Eliza Chen's face was plastered across business magazines and tech websites. Her company had revolutionized renewable energy storage, making her a billionaire before 40. But it wasn't Eliza's wealth or power that made Maya nervous, it was the uncanny resemblance between them. Both shared the same heart-shaped face, almond eyes, and determined set to their jaw. Maya had noticed it the first time she saw Eliza's TED Talk on her school's career day. The resemblance was so striking that Maya's friends had teased her about being Eliza's secret daughter. "One vanilla cone, please," Eliza said, barely looking up from her phone. Her security detail stood at a respectful distance, scanning the crowded food court. "Coming right up," Maya replied, her voice steadier than she felt. When Maya handed over the cone, Eliza finally looked up. The CEO froze, her eyes widening as they locked with Maya's. The phone slipped from her hand, clattering onto the counter. "My God," Eliza whispered. "She looks like me." The security team tensed, unsure how to respond to their boss's sudden change in demeanor. Maya felt her cheeks burn as nearby customers turned to stare. She'd imagined meeting her idol many times, but never like this, being examined like a curiosity in her polyester uniform with ice cream melting down her fingers. "I get that a lot," Maya said with a nervous laugh, trying to break the tension. But Eliza wasn't listening. She was studying Maya's face with an intensity that made the girl uncomfortable. "How old are you?" she asked. 16, Maya answered. "Where are your parents from?" The questions felt invasive, especially coming from a stranger, even if that stranger was Eliza Chen. Maya straightened her shoulders, remembering her mother's words, "Your dignity is not for sale, not even to the rich and powerful." "With all due respect, Ms. Chen," Maya said, her voice clear and steady, "I'm more than just someone who looks like you. I'm Maya Rodriguez, honor student, community volunteer, and yes, part-time ice cream server. But one day, I'll be running my own company, not because I look like you, but because I work as hard as you." The food court fell silent. Even Eliza's security team seemed to hold their breath. For a moment, Maya thought she'd made a terrible mistake. Her manager was going to fire her. Her mother would be disappointed. Her college fund would suffer. Then Eliza Chen did something unexpected. She smiled, a genuine smile that transformed her usually serious face. "Bold," she said. "I like that." She pulled a business card from her designer jacket and wrote something on the back. "Call this number when you're ready for an internship. Not because you look like me, but because you think like me." That chance encounter changed everything for Maya. But the story doesn't begin or end in that food court. It started years earlier, in a small apartment where a single mother raised her daughter on dreams and determination. Carmen Rodriguez had fled political unrest in her home country when Maya was just 2 years old. With nothing but a nursing degree that wasn't recognized in America and fierce love for her daughter, Carmen built a life from scratch. She worked double shifts at a nursing home while studying to recertify, reading medical textbooks during her bus commute and practicing English with her patients. "We don't have much," Carmen would tell Maya, "but we have dignity and dreams. Those can't be taken from us." Maya grew up watching her mother's exhaustion and resilience. When Carmen finally became a registered nurse after 5 years of struggle, Maya understood the value of persistence. When Carmen was passed over for promotion 3 times despite her qualifications, Maya learned about injustice. And when Carmen started a support group for immigrant healthcare workers, Maya witnessed the power of community. These lessons shaped Maya more than any resemblance to a famous CEO ever could. By 16, Maya had her own dreams, to create healthcare technology that would make medical care more accessible to immigrant communities. She'd taught herself coding through free online courses, using the public library's computers since they couldn't afford one at home. She'd created a simple app that translated medical instructions into multiple languages, winning her school's science fair. The day before meeting Eliza Chen, Maya had received a rejection letter from a summer coding program she'd applied to. "While your application shows promise," the letter read, "we are looking for candidates with more formal experience." Maya had cried in the bathroom during her lunch break, then washed her face and returned to serving ice cream with a smile. One rejection wouldn't stop her. Her mother had taught her better than that. After the encounter with Eliza, Maya didn't immediately call the number. The card sat on her desk for 3 days while she debated what to do. "It feels like cheating," she told her mother over dinner in their small apartment. "Getting an opportunity just because I happen to look like someone famous." Carmen put down her fork and looked at her daughter. "Did you ask to look like her?" "No, of course not." "And what did you say to her when she pointed it out?" Maya smiled, remembering. "I told her I was more than just someone who looks like her." "Exactly," Carmen said. "You spoke your truth. That's why she gave you her card. Not because of your face, but because of your voice." She reached across the table and squeezed Maya's hand. "Doors open for different reasons, Mija. What matters is what you do once you're inside the room." The next day, Maya called the number. It connected her to Eliza's personal assistant, who scheduled an interview for the following week. The Horizon Technologies headquarters was nothing like Maya had imagined. Instead of a sleek, intimidating skyscraper, it was a renovated warehouse with plants everywhere and natural light streaming through skylights. Employees worked at standing desks or lounged in hammock chairs, dressed in casual clothes rather than formal business attire. Maya, wearing the only blazer she owned, a thrift store find her mother had carefully tailored, felt simultaneously overdressed and underprepared. Eliza's office was a glass-walled space in the center of the building. No corner office, no mahogany desk, just a round table surrounded by white boards covered in equations and diagrams. "You came," Eliza said, looking up from her tablet. Today, she seemed different from the woman at the mall, more relaxed, more human. "Thank you for the opportunity," Maya replied formally. "Sit," Eliza gestured to a chair. "Tell me about yourself." "Not your resume, I've already seen that. Tell me what drives you." For the next hour, Maya found herself sharing things she'd never told anyone outside her closest friends, her frustration with healthcare inequities, her ideas for translation algorithms that could bridge cultural gaps in medical care, her dream of creating technology that served people rather than exploiting them. Eliza listened intently, occasionally asking sharp questions that pushed Maya to think deeper. There was no mention of their physical resemblance. Finally, Eliza leaned back. "I'm going to offer you something, but first, I want to tell you a story." She paused, seeming to choose her words carefully. "When I was your age, I was angry all the time. My parents had sacrificed everything to give me opportunities, working jobs that wasted their talents because their credentials weren't recognized here. I watched my brilliant father clean office buildings at night and my mathematician mother answer phones during the day." Maya nodded, recognizing her own story in Eliza's words. "I promised myself I'd succeed for them," Eliza continued. "I'd make their sacrifices worth it. But that anger, that need to prove something, it made me ruthless. I stepped on people. I burned bridges. I achieved success, yes, but at a cost." She gestured around her. "This company, these innovations, they're important. But what I've learned too late is that how you succeed matters as much as whether you succeed. She fixed Maya with an intense gaze. You remind me of myself, not just in appearance, but in that fire I see in you. But you have something I didn't at your age, wisdom. Maya blinked, surprised. No one had ever called her wise before. Here's my offer, Eliza said. A paid internship, 15 hours a week around your school schedule. You'll work directly with our healthcare technology division. It won't be glamorous, lots of data entry and basic coding at first, but you'll learn how this industry really works. More importantly, you'll have mentorship, not just from me, but from our entire team. It was more than Maya had dared hope for. But Eliza wasn't finished. There's a condition, she said. You need to promise me something. What's that? Maya asked cautiously. Promise you won't become me. Eliza's voice softened. Learn from my successes, yes, but also from my mistakes. Build your career without sacrificing your humanity. Can you promise that? The request was unexpected, revealing a vulnerability in this powerful woman that Maya hadn't anticipated. I promise, she said solemnly. That summer internship extended into the school year and the following summer. Maya's responsibilities grew as her skills developed. She joined a team working on a multilingual medical communication platform, contributing insights from her own experiences that shaped the project in crucial ways. But success brought complications. Some employees whispered that Maya was only there because she was Eliza's secret daughter or relative. Others suggested she was just a publicity stunt, the CEO's mini-me, brought in to humanize Eliza's image. The rumors reached Maya's ears, of course. They stung, undermining her confidence and making her question whether she truly deserved her position. She began working longer hours, trying to prove herself through sheer effort. Carmen noticed the change in her daughter. You're not sleeping, she observed one morning, finding Maya at the kitchen table at 5 a.m., still working on code from the night before. I need to finish this module, Maya said without looking up. Carmen gently closed the laptop. Talk to me, Mija. What's happening? The story spilled out, the whispers, the doubts, the fear that she was an imposter who had lucked into an opportunity she didn't deserve. Carmen listened quietly, then asked, Do you remember Mrs. Patel from the nursing home? The one who taught me to make proper chai. Maya nodded, confused by the apparent change of subject. She told me something once that I've never forgotten. She said, when people can't understand your journey, they'll explain it in ways that make sense to them. These people at your work, they see a young girl who resembles the boss, and they create a story that makes sense to them. But their story isn't your truth. So what do I do? Maya asked. Live your truth so loudly that their stories become irrelevant. The next day, Maya requested a meeting with Eliza. She hadn't had a one-on-one with the CEO in months. Eliza traveled frequently, and Maya's direct supervisor handled her day-to-day management. I need to address the rumors, Maya said bluntly once they were alone. Eliza didn't pretend not to understand. I've heard them too. They're affecting my work, my confidence. People don't take me seriously. Welcome to being a woman in tech, Eliza said dryly. Multiply that by 10 for being a woman of color. So that's it? Just deal with it? Maya felt her frustration rising. Eliza studied her for a moment. No, that's not it. I'm sorry, that was dismissive. She sighed. The truth is, I've been dealing with these kinds of assumptions my entire career. First, that I slept my way to the top. Then, that I was just a diversity hire. Now, that I'm too ruthless, too cold. People will always have narratives about you that have nothing to do with reality. But this is different, Maya insisted. This is about our resemblance, something neither of us can control. You're right, Eliza acknowledged. And I've been thinking about it too. She tapped her fingers on the desk, a habit Maya had noticed when Eliza was processing a complex problem. What if we address it directly? Not with denials or explanations, but by transforming it into something meaningful. 2 weeks later, Horizon Technologies announced a new initiative, the Mirror Program, a mentorship and internship opportunity specifically designed for young women from immigrant backgrounds interested in STEM careers. The announcement featured a photograph of Eliza and Maya side by side, acknowledging their resemblance while emphasizing that the program was inspired by their shared experiences as daughters of immigrants rather than their similar appearances. "We may look alike," Eliza was quoted in the press release, "but what truly connects us is our parallel journeys, the challenges we've faced and the dreams we share for making technology more inclusive." The program would provide paid internships, mentorship, and college scholarships to 20 young women annually. Maya would help design the curriculum, drawing from her own experiences to ensure it addressed the real obstacles faced by girls like her. The initiative received widespread praise, transforming what had been gossip fodder into a powerful statement about representation and opportunity. Applications flooded in from across the country, girls who saw themselves reflected not just in Maya and Eliza's faces, but in their stories. For Maya, the program became as educational as her technical work. She learned about organizational development, nonprofit management, and the complexities of creating meaningful change within corporate structures. She witnessed Eliza navigating board politics to secure funding, sometimes compromising on details but never on the core mission. By the time Maya graduated high school, the Mirror program had expanded to 3 cities and partnered with major universities to create scholarship pathways. Maya had been accepted to MIT with a full scholarship, planning to study computer science and public health. On her last day as an intern, before leaving for college, Eliza invited her to dinner, not at an expensive restaurant, but at her home. It was the first time Maya had seen where the CEO lived, and she was surprised by its modesty. The house was beautiful but small by CEO standards, with books everywhere and a garden visible through the windows. "I wanted you to see this," Eliza said, noticing Maya's surprise. "The real me, not the public persona. Because you're about to enter a world where people will pressure you to create a certain image of success." They cooked together, a simple meal of the foods they'd both grown up with, and talked about Maya's future. Not just career plans, but hopes and fears, the kind of conversation they'd never had time for in the office. As they washed dishes side by side, Eliza said, "You know, when I first saw you at that ice cream counter, I was shocked by our resemblance. But now, I barely notice it." "Really?" Maya asked, surprised. "Really? Because I've come to know the real you, your mind, your heart, your determination. Those things make you uniquely Maya, not a reflection of anyone else." Maya smiled, remembering her bold words from their first encounter. "I told you I was more than someone who looks like you." "You were right," Eliza said, handing her a plate to dry. "And you've proven it every day since." As Maya prepared to leave for college, she reflected on the journey that had begun with that chance encounter. She had entered Horizon Technologies because of a coincidental resemblance but had carved out her own identity through her work and character. The Mirror program would continue without her daily involvement, creating opportunities for girls who might otherwise be overlooked. Last visit to the office, Maya found a small package on her desk. Inside was a framed photograph of her and Eliza from the Mirror program launch, along with a note in Eliza's precise handwriting. "Maya, remember when I asked you to promise not to become me? I see now that was never a risk. You have always been uniquely yourself. What I should have asked instead is for you to promise to become the best version of Maya possible. From what I've witnessed, you're well on your way. The world needs your voice, your perspective, your solutions. Never let anyone reduce you to a reflection. You are not my mirror, you are a window to a future I can only imagine. With admiration and gratitude, Eliza." Maya carried those words with her to MIT and beyond. In the years that followed, she would face new challenges and opportunities, always guided by the lessons she'd learned during that transformative time, that resemblance might open doors, but character determines what happens once you're inside, that success without purpose is hollow, that the most powerful legacy isn't wealth or fame, but the doors you open for others. And it all began with a 16-year-old girl who refused to be defined by her face, who had the courage to tell one of the most powerful women in tech, "I'm more than someone who looks like you." And it all began with a 16-year-old girl who refused to be defined by her face, who had the courage to tell one of the most powerful women in tech, "I'm more than someone who looks like you." If this story reminded you that your identity is more powerful than any label, take a moment to like and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Because sometimes, the boldest voices come from the most unexpected places.